All right, so Mystery Hill started off as an apple orchard owned by the Hudsons. And one day, some of the people working on the orchard came up to the Hudsons and explained that weird things were happening on their property. Like the apples would actually roll uphill instead of down, and the tire swing that the kids used to play on didn't swing all the way forward and would stop halfway and then go back. Like some kind of invisible rope was hanging on to them while they were trying to swing. Now the Hudsons had no clue what was going on. It's not like they had iPhones and Samsungs like we have today where they could just ask Google and Siri what was wrong with their apple orchard, even though Siri hardly answers my questions anyway, so they're probably better off without her. But they did have that Life magazine there on the wall. And in that magazine, there was an article about this place over in California called the Mystery Spot. And you can see the advertisement of the Life magazine there. And it was a tourist attraction over there in Santa Cruz, California. So the Hudsons decided to head on over there and see if they could get some answers as to why this was happening, which, as you can imagine, was a very long trip, going from North Carolina all the way to California. But they made it, and it looks like they had a good time, didn't it?
Yeah.
Photos there, doing Michael Jackson, Smooth Criminally, and the bigger photo there. That's what y'all are going to look like when we get inside the mystery house here in a second. And then when the Hudsons came back to North Carolina, they didn't have many of their questions answered from the people over in California because the people that owned the mystery spot were just as confused. They just found out a way to make a living off of it. So the Hudsons wanted a piece of that. They opened up the first Mystery Hill to the public in 1948, and you can compare that to how Mystery Hill looks now in the same spot. And the Hudsons ended up selling the Mystery Hill to the Underwoods, which she was at the front desk a little bit ago, back in the 50s, and I guess the Hudsons, they went to Florida, so I guess they were tired of living in the mountain life and retired down in Florida. On our way through, we'll see this mystery platform where the person standing on the north side will actually appear taller than usual, and the person standing on the south side will appear shorter than usual. So if there's ever been that one person that you've always wanted to be taller than, this might be your one chance to do that. And then we'll also go into everybody's favorite part of the tour, the mystery house, where we'll defy gravity in there. And you can see my friend David doing the Matrix and the Smooth Criminally right there. Looks like they're having a good time. After your tour is over, don't forget about the other museums and attractions that you have included in your tickets. No matter which one you purchased, you have our 2 museums in the big white house across the parking lot. This was the home of the founders of Appalachian State University. So the Doherty family used to live in that house. You can walk through, see their different appliances and how the house is set up. In the downstairs part of that house is our Native American Artifacts Museum. That's the second largest collection of Native American artifacts in the whole world, only second to the Smithsonian Museum. So over 250,000 pieces, all collected by one couple, Moon and Irene Mullins. And then if you add anything on, like tomahawk throwing, indoor gem mining, or your photo, you can go do those things as well in any particular order that you like. I would do the photo first because that seems to be the one that gets backed up throughout the day. Everything else kind of moves a little faster, so do your photo first if you've got that. You also have bull riding included, so go up there and test your luck with the bull, see if you can make it past 8 seconds. I can't even make it past 3 seconds myself because they put me on the hardest mode. And that thing goes crazy up there. Maybe they'll be a little bit more.
So they do have an easy mode.
Yeah.
Like
and if you want to give your turn to somebody else, you can give your turn.
Oh no, he wants to ride.
You want to ride still.
I just don't want him off.
Yeah. Try to land on that side, right?
Yeah.
All right, so it's funny because we were just talking about broken bottles at the front desk. We were saying how many broken bottles we have.
I mean, he can break another one, but I ain't paying for it.
I know. He'll have to pay, he can start working here if he wants to.
Yeah, okay.
We'll take that top small receipt from you that was stapled in your brochure, and we'll head on in here. Also, you can come back and do as many times as you like. Next time you don't need a tour guide. So if you want to come back through by yourselves up to the mystery house stuff today, you can. Okay? Just walk on through like that.
You're 7, I'm 5.
Well, yeah, brandy, just don't drink it. Thank you, sir. Just line up along that rock wall there from the ground up for us. Thank you. Okay, so this right here is what a vortex looks like. This is underneath the earth, right where the mystery house is. This is what causes us to feel a little dizzy when we walk inside of the mystery house. Also causes the ball to roll uphill, water flows uphill, and the swing that never stops swinging inside of the room. So you don't have to pump your legs and nobody has to push you on our swing. All you have to do is sit there and you'll be there for years and years and years, going back and forth. Obviously, the vortex that's under the ground is a lot bigger than what you see here. It doesn't have this perfect shape to it because this one is man-made, and the one underneath the ground is naturally occurring, made up of a large mass of iron ore and magnetite in the ground. There's so much of it down there that it's just a little bit stronger of a gravitational pull than we're used to. That's why you can hold up your pocketbook or your car keys up, and they'll actually be pulling out of your hand, leaning sideways, and they feel a little heavier than what you're normally used to. And we'll check that out when we get there. This is a map that shows all the known locations inside of the United States that also has a vortex on their property. The spirals are all open to the public, so you can go there and visit just like you're doing today. And then the dots are not open to the public. I guess the government's hiding something from us in those locations there. Especially out here, so it's definitely going on with that Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, it's something.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
I know, that's where I grew up.
Okay. Did you ever experience anything over there?
We just said it was the government.
Oh, yeah. The government or the ghost one, right? Yeah, and some of the vortexes are stronger than others, like this one over here in California called Confusion Hill. You can actually put your car in neutral and it'll roll up the hill instead of down without you having to press the gas pedal at all. Or ours is only strong enough to pull up a little rubber ball, which is pretty cool in its own right? Some people say the aliens are behind all this. They say the aliens have put the equipment into the ground. That's why the vortex is here. If you can't explain something, just blame it on the aliens, right? Yeah. And then, like I said, we think there's this large mass of iron ore magnetite. We know that it's down there because we were digging for uranium not too long ago. It was a pretty while ago, but they did find some iron ore magnetite down in the ground. We just don't know how much is actually down there. So about to enter Moonshine Alley. Before you ask, no, we don't have any samples of moonshine. To our left is going to be some old tools used on the orchard, and to our right is going to be Grandpa's favorite tool. Of course, that's going to be his moonshine steel. We're also going to see the revenue buried out here. Nobody likes it when the tax man comes around taking all our money and our moonshine. So the old tax collector, they called them the revenuers. They were the bad guys against the revenuers. So his boots are still kicking back and forth underneath the ground. And then at the very end, if you want to take a picture with Grandpa, he's got a 2-seater outhouse with plenty of newspaper for you. So you can take a picture with him if you like, okay? Annie? Okay.
The tools they was talking about.
We can come back. Yeah, a big difference.
And there's the for the moonshine.
I have
And here's the all tools.
Yeah. Oh, wow, okay.
That is cool looking in it. I know that's how I've been.
She doesn't do good with small children or around her butt.
Oh, yeah.
Or other animals.
Yeah.
But she's pretty good with people.
A lot of old tools.
Very weird.
And here's the boots that still move.
We had a real price. Look, it was actually called
See
Red
how
Bull
we
the other day. He said there was only 6 of them left. Here's the old Grandpa if you want to take a picture with him.
Don't do that.
A lot of old tools.
Look at it.
There's Grandpa's cabin.
Milk's good here tonight. You gotta get it in there. We gotta get it.
Yeah. It's just a little bit. Yeah, it is dry here. Yeah.
Not getting in there.
What 2 vegetables can live on to produce on their own each year without being replanted for sale?
I grew up in the north.
Asparagus and rhubarb. Mmm. It does. And fried green tomatoes.
Wait, let me
And
get
the letters DW. Dwarf, dwell, and dwindle.
We've been planted for several seasons.
What famous North American landmark is constantly moving backwards? Niagara Falls. The rim is worn down about 2.5 feet per year. That's greater than God. More evil than devil. More people
while you're
There's
walking
people
by this
need
room,
it.
it's just showing what normal
And if you
is.
eat it, you
So
will
now
die.
can see it's hanging
Nothing.
right in the middle, along the plumb line as you walk by. And it takes an equal amount of force to push it to the left side and to the right side. So it doesn't take more force to push it one way or the other. The broom inside of the mystery house, instead of hanging straight up and down by itself, it'll be leaning to the left about 1/4 of an inch. And it'll be harder to push it to the right than it will be to push it to the left. So right now this is equal. One on this side is going to be hard to push it to the right. Then if you look right above us here, this is one of the 3 original apple trees that are still alive on the property today. It's been here since the 1920s. And it does still produce apples. You can see them growing down the limbs. And there's a few down
Yeah, I
there,
do see them.
a little stream here. Like I said, there's only 3 trees left. This one right here and then 2 more up on the hillside off from the 1920s. The rest of them were taken out by blight, which is a bacteria that gets in the ground and it goes up through the roots of the trees. So the blight took out the remaining apple trees back in the day. Alright, so we'll head on up to the platform and we're going to grow the shrimp a little bit. Just kind of group up in this little area here.
I know.
Alright, so this used to be the apple press that was located on the property. And an apple press had to be completely level in order for it to work properly. And the Hudsons had nephews that were twins. And they knew that the twins were the exact same height. But on this particular spot, they would be 2 different heights. So one would be taller over on this side by about 3 or 4 inches compared to the one standing over on this side. And just for fun, they wanted to see what would happen when they switched. The same one that was taller over here was now shorter on this side. So whenever 2 people get up here, all you have to do is stand on the footprints, look straight ahead, then you'll switch places with your partner. Feel free to take pictures, and first 2 people can try it out. I can take pictures for anyone that wants me to. So whoever wants to go up first can try it.
Well, but you might be
So this is showing that it's level, right?
Yeah, and it's not a fake level either. Alright, so you come up to about the bill of his hat. So is that the bill of your hat? Okay, go ahead and switch. Oh, did you get the picture?
No, I didn't.
I'll have him switch
It's okay.
again. And now he's taller on the
Wow.
left side.
Wow.
Did you get that one?
Yeah.
Okay, switch one more side at a time so she can get
Wow. He likes being taller than him for a second, huh?
He's always.
And now you're short.
Wow.
That was a big difference.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I could. Luke, I mean, Ethan, will you go up there next to Luke? Like you get. Yeah. Well, y'all are closer. You do you want to come? They don't know.
Alright, so
Wow.
you got the chin there. It's right underneath the chin. And now up to her glasses, kind of at the nose. You grow a little bit. Alright, next up can go.
Why don't we do it with me? We're about the same size.
Oh, they're going. Okay.
Let's see what happens. Alright, so you come up to about the top of his glasses, right there at his eyebrows. And now down underneath his nose.
Mommy's not really that small.
Oh my gosh.
Blocking your
Bird
sight.
just flew right above us.
You are easily small, Mommy. It was the same for you when you.
Alright, so she's about at the bottom of your forehead there, right at your eyebrows on the side. And now she's actually a little bit taller. Before you were shorter. You can't tell while you're up there, but yeah, you can see it out here. Anybody else before we head inside? Are we good? Alright, so in the mystery house, you may feel a little dizzy, and that's completely normal. If you feel like you can't make it through the house, we do have a hallway right to our left. You can take that instead of going into the room. Just make sure you stay on the railing and try to finish the tour. After I finish, you guys can let go of the railing and try everything out for yourselves. And also no running because the back wall doesn't feel good when you slam up against it, okay?
No
Yeah,
running.
Yeah. I see Annie or Annie.
Pretty interesting, huh? Wow. Oh my. Wow.